What is going on, everyone? And welcome back to another About Teams NBA recap video. Got two games yesterday. Both series were tied at 2. Both, obviously, two teams were able to go up 3-2. And I guess that'll kind of get into our first game. It was also the first game of the 2-game slate yesterday. The New York Knicks defeat the Indiana Pacers. What was a blowout fashion? I knew the Knicks would feed off the home crowd to be able to win this. I did not expect it to be this bad. It was another one of those games for Indiana. Tyrese Haliburton doesn't take a lot of shots. Only 9, I believe, in this game. Another game, Jalen Brunson proves why he's a top 3, probably the best, second best, top 3 at least player this playoffs. He's been unreal. Consistently getting 40 points. Alec Burks was huge off the bench. Josh Hart was able to do his thing, and they obviously played great defense on the Pacers, slowed down that offense. And it's been a weird series. You saw Indiana blow them out in Game 4. You saw New York deliver in Game 5, huge blowout win. So, in my sense, I think New York overall, even with the injuries, they still got the best player on the floor. Great supporting cast. I still like them to win the series, but wouldn't surprise me if it went 7 the way the series has gone. But I mean, shout out to the Knicks. Great response after losing 2, and obviously Game 4 was an embarrassment. Jalen Brunson proved why he may be first team All NBA this season in my eyes.
Yeah, I should stop taking NBA predictions, making NBA predictions, because I said Pacers were going to win this game, and I look like a moron. I knew one of these games Brunson was going to, explode again. I thought it was going to be Game 6 or 7, but I mean, he's kind of shown us he can do that any game. It doesn't matter the magnitude. It doesn't matter where he is. He can blow up, and he shows how valuable he is to his team. I mean, DiVincenzo didn't really play that good. I don't think he shot well, and they still won by 30, so it kind of shows how dominant Brunson can be. But that's also kind of goes towards your point that the Pacers kind of went back to the game they were playing the first 2 games, which is Haliburton not shooting, which is resulting in them not scoring as many points. So after seeing that game last night and just how well the Knicks handled Indiana, even without one of their, I don't want to say star players in DiVincenzo, but like one of their key pieces not performing up to standard, I'm thinking they're just going to take it next game in Indiana, but you never know. Yeah. Like I said, I got to stop predicting because.
Yeah. No, I mean, I could see Indiana feeding off the home crowd. This is unfamiliar territory. Indiana's obviously won the first round. They've already won 2 games in the second round, so it's been a decently deep playoff run for them. We'll see. I mean, I think they're going to feed off that home crowd going back home. But yeah, Tyrese Haliburton, if we look at the box score and see 9 shots or under, I think that'll pretty wrap up who won the series without even having to look anywhere else, because he needs to. I'd rather see him go 4 of 20 next game than like 3 of 6. I want him to go out swinging. Like I want him to. He's had the ability to get a little bit hotter from 3 recently in this playoffs, and I mean, we'll just see what happens when the game comes, because the series has been full of unpredictability. But I still like the Knicks win the series regardless if it's Game 6 or Game 7. I just trust Jalen Brunson to show up, and I know he will. It's almost a surprise when he doesn't score 40. So that speaks high to just the expectations he's had this series.
It's going to be tough to beat them, like even in the Eastern Conference Finals. Whoever plays them, Celtics are up 3-1 right now, but series isn't over. But if that's going to be a tough matchup either way. Like the Knicks are tough, man. They're gritty. They're obviously all New York teams play tough at home except for the Jets. So they're a tough team. I mean, I would say Brunson's the best player in the playoffs. I think that's a fair statement to say. It's either him, Jokic, or Ant. Those are the 3 I would put up there for the 3 best players so far.
Yeah, no, this playoffs, but we'll get into Jokic. Actually, I guess we'll get into him next. in the second game, obviously, shout out to the Knicks. Big win yesterday. Game 5, Denver, Timberwolves fan as I know. Not running off much sleep because the game didn't end until I think it was like after 1 something. I mean, it was like a 10:50 tip off, which in of itself is a problem with the NBA. But this game, we obviously the first punch from Minnesota this series. We've seen this Denver team, when they're performing at this level, Jokic, Aaron Gordon stepping up, Jamal Murray has woken up. They're just unstoppable. They're the best. They won the championship for a reason last year in so dominant fashion. They only, I think, lost like 4 games on their championship run last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Jokic last night, 40 points. He was just too dominant. People like you before the pod, they're going to talk about Rudy. Rudy's the defensive player of the year, and he's allowing 40. Of all the shots I saw Rudy on Jokic, that shit was contested. Jokic just either banked it in somehow or made a crazy one-handed floater. And if he's going to make those, the series is pretty much all but over. I mean, there's not much more he can do. There's not much more anyone in the league can do because there is no Jokic stopper. Because his ability to just shoot like that, his touch around the rim, it's tough and it sucks because I think a lot of people. I think this was the toughest matchup for the Nuggets in their path to the finals. I think when you have like that wall of Karl, Jokic, and just some great perimeter defenders, it rattled Denver the first 2 games. And Denver didn't even really wake up to that Lakers series, even though they won in 5. Mm-hmm. Didn't really feel like a 5-game series. I think there was a stat they trailed for like 70% of that series. And that was the case the first 2 games, capped off with like a 30-point win in game 2 for the Wolves. But that woke up just a monster that is the Denver Nuggets, the defending champions. No one can stop Jokic. I don't know how like someone could try and convince me like not watching this series like Denver isn't going to win the championship. Even after it was 2-0, I've said whoever won the series was going to win the championship because I think these were the 2 best teams and it was the toughest matchup for Denver. But, shout out to Jokic, man. 3-time MVP. He proved that yesterday to give themselves a crucial win. The depth has kind of stepped up. Their bench has been a little bit better than what I was expected. Justin Holiday shooting 40% from 3 this series, or even higher, maybe 50. It was crazy. And then Jamal Murray, last 3 games, has been locked in. Credit to them. If I'm the Timberwolves, you're down 3-2, heading back home. The only way I could see them winning is just a 3-point barrage. Ant's got to be more aggressive. Yesterday, the Nuggets were double teaming him well, but he's got to still find a way through those double teams to get to the rim because I still think even from game 4, getting 44 points, it was mostly driving to the rim, and then it can lead to 3-pointers. That's the way you got to hit it. Jaden McDaniels, you're a great defender, got to hit your shots. Naz Reid's got to hit some. Your 6th man of the year needs to hit some shots, and you just got to hope Jokic misses some of those that are contested. We'll see what the coaching staff cooks up, what adjustment has to be made. I mean, it's all hands on deck at this point. You have nothing to lose. Season on the line. Thursday night, Minneapolis. I'm excited, but I mean, Denver's the champs for a reason, and I don't see why they won't win this series anymore.
You talked about it yesterday when we were discussing like MVP talks and if Jokic deserved it or Shea or whoever or even last year. And the point you brought up that I don't want to say it's underlooked, but as appreciated as it is, I still think it's underappreciated is how much better Jokic makes his entire team. Because if you want to focus on Jokic or even not focus on Jokic and just say, don't let someone else beat us, Jokic is going to get his 35, but let's not let anybody else beat us. he's going to find ways to still help his other teammates beat you. But because he has such good vision, such good, playmaking. That's what sets him above, in my opinion, everybody else in the NBA. Is not only is he a terrific scorer and it seems like he can hit almost any shot. Like he'll hit those over the head buzzer beater, like shot clock buzzer beaters from three, just out of nowhere. But then he can also bring in the double, just feed down low to Aaron Gordon. Like he can beat you in so many different ways, and it seems like he's so much smarter than just everybody on the floor. That's why I think when you're talking about if every single team in the NBA is playing at their best, I think the Nuggets are, like you just said, pretty much impossible to beat because they can beat you in so many different ways. They're so tough on defense. Yeah. I mean, I would like to see Minnesota win just because I love seeing Game 7s, but it's going to be very, very, very tough for them to beat them after seeing Denver get rolling.
Denver, they woke up. They became a beast after that game too. I think Mike Malone was playing all those press conferences throughout the week. Anthony Edwards on Good Morning America. Stephen A. Smith, I think it was Charles Barkley said the Timberwolves were going to sweep. It was they fed off that energy, and I mean I guess level it out. If Denver was going to play like they did the first 7 games, like kind of coasting, it seemed like Jokic didn't really even care that he was like playing basketball. But they woke up the best player in the NBA, going to be arguably could be top 5 when it's all said and done in this league. He's just so good, man, and I can't even be mad at anyone. It's like, I guess the players I am mad at. You just gotta hit your shots on offense because that's the only way you can keep up. Got to hit your open shots, like I said. Jaden McDaniels, Nas Reed, you're going to need to hit 3-pointers if we want to win this game. Anthony Edwards going to have to be way more aggressive. I think this is a game elimination at home. He does go big, and I know with themselves on the line, hopefully they come out with a little bit more heart. Mike Conley, hopefully he can play in this game because that was I think a big reason why Ant struggled yesterday. Mike Conley is such a veteran presence on that court. Easy for the ball, good ball handler. And Chris Finch said he's good to go, so I'm hoping he is because we need a shooting out there. But it's just going to come down to can somehow Jokic miss some of these shots? I don't really, even as a Wolves fan, I don't really know. Probably not.
I mean, shooting 31% from 3 too for the Timberwolves doesn't help. Like,
yeah, no, they're going to need to, if they want to win this game, if they want to force a Game 7, 40+% from 3-pointer. That's one of the keys I'm going to look at the end of the game. That I have like 3 keys. Shoot 40% from 3. Anthony Edwards, supporting cast has to do their job. Looking at Carl, he needs a huge game. Nas Reed, Jaden. And then I'm looking just at a big Anthony Edwards game, 40+, because Jokic is going to do his thing. You just got to play. I mean, it's a credit to the Nuggets because this truly is one of the – I think Minnesota's defense this year has been one of the greatest defenses in recent memory. I look back at like the 04 Pistons as like a step of what like this defense was, but they just have someone that's just – they have a team that's on a mission that is just – simply too good on offense, led by the best player in the world. And it's more of a credit to Denver, I think. Like if the series ends in Game 6 or Game 7 with Denver winning, this is more of a credit to Denver than it should be like criticism of Minnesota because it's simply just Denver being the best team in the league. And there's no debate about that.
Yeah, if you hit all those thresholds that you just mentioned, and Denver somehow still ends up winning by like 10. You just got to tip your cap. And you got to say you beat us. Like you guys were just the better team. And there's no like shame in that. Like you just said, it's not the Timberwolves losing the series. It's Denver just being more experienced, having more,
Yeah, and we'll talk like
they're just good. They're just good.
Yeah. we'll talk, offseason what the Bulls might have to do and other teams that fell short of their championship goals. But for people like trying to panic, Anthony Edwards is only 22. And,
Mhm.
you took that step this year. If you go out in 6 or 7, you won a playoff series I think it's the second time in your franchise's history. So that alone is a good step. You took the defending champs to at least a game 6, which is something. I mean, you went up 2-0 on a team that looks like it could be a dynasty. I mean, the way Aaron Gordon has been playing, it's like no one saw that coming. It's just a huge credit to Denver. I mean,
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. Anything else you want to add to this game before?
No. I think I wanted to give this game to you because I didn't get to watch it all just because it was so late, and I was kind of tuning into the hockey games. But
Yeah.
I want to give you that one. So
Yeah, no. As a Wolves fan, it's frustrating. But
yeah,
what team or the way Jokic is playing, if he does play like this, you won't win. But it's a credit to Denver.
it's just
Should be
it's a tough feeling knowing that it's like it's almost frustrating that you know you're going up against probably the best team.
yeah,
Just
and
there's not much you can do unless you play lights out and they have an off night.
yeah. I mean, the only way, Jokic is going to get his no matter what. You just gotta. We've already gone over the keys. You just gotta. Anthony Edwards and the team has just gotta step up. You gotta knock down your open
You got to answer
shots.
the bell.
And you just gotta feed off that home crowd because I know that home crowd will be ready. 8:30 tip, so 7:30 Minneapolis time. That crowd's gonna be lit. It's gonna be a good time. Can watch the whole game. I'm excited. Regardless if it's the last game of the season, been fun. But with that being said, we'll kind of just give a quick preview of tonight. Just got 2 games: Celtics, Cavs. Not sure if Donovan Mitchell's playing. Doesn't really matter for me. I got the Celtics taking care of business this series.
Okay.
I think Cleveland, if Donovan Mitchell is healthy, could be interesting, but I don't see how this goes to a game 6, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to agree with you for the most part. The Celtics, I know Donovan Mitchell didn't play last game, but the scoreboard was close, but it kind of seemed like the Celtics were handling it. Tatum, if Tatum can show up and shoot somewhat efficiently without, it being like 6 for 10 for like 15 points or not that, you know what I mean? Like if he can shoot like 12 for 18 and go to the line 10 times, I think they win this one easy. It's going to come down to because I think Mitchell will play, an elimination game, unless his injury is really a lot worse than what I'm thinking it is. I think he'll play just because season's on the line. I can see guys like Darius Garland, sorry, blanked on his name, stepping up again, just kind of like what he did last game, just because with Mitchell being out, he kind of had to step up and be the scorer. So I can see him doing that. But in Boston, chance to close out the series again, chance to go to the conference final. I just don't think he'll close it out because I don't think you don't want to go back to Cleveland.
You don't.
If you give Cleveland life, they're going to jump on you.
It's a mental thing. You don't you don't want to go back, but if Donovan Mitchell really was okay to play, I think he would have played last game. I think their season was on the line, unless it got really better. Okay, maybe he could play, but I don't know if he is because if he was out last game, their season was on the line because you then would lose 2. You're taking a huge risk losing 2 at home, going back to Boston where you have to win. If you want to win the series, you have to win 2 out of 3 from Boston, 3 in a row. Boston didn't lose 3 in a row all year. Sums it up. I think Celtics should win easily. I don't.
Yeah, you make a good point. You make a good point. So we'll see, though. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe Cleveland puts up somewhat of a fight, but
you want to give any stat predictions? Just because this.
Well, I got Celtics by 15 area.
Any player prop bets like Tatum plus 25 or Brown?
Probably Tatum under 27.
Ooh, under. Okay.
He's gotten 230 balls in a row. That's enough for him to check out this series. Feel like it might be a Derek White game.
All right. Well, that of all the games going on,
I've never
this
seen
probably-
so much Jason Tatum hate before this playoff run,
Yeah,
or
no
before the
shit.
season.
No
It's been
shit.
Twitter's been remarkable.
Hey, you know what? Get ready for it because it's coming to Ant next. The young ones never get it until they start,
Ant's
progressing.
only
and they come
22.
out.
I'd give it 3 more years.
Tatum's like 20, 25, 26, I think.
The part of the reason why Tatum gets criticized is because of his super team. So whenever he doesn't perform, it's like on him, like, oh, how are you not performing with this super team? I think part of the reason is he doesn't get as many shots up like as he does years prior.
Mm-hmm.
I think his personality also just doesn't match someone like Ants. Ants is more charismatic, fun, outgoing. Tatum is just kind of quiet. So I think the internet, specifically Twitter, picks like their players who they like and dislike, and Tatum's just become one of those players that they just don't like.
And I mean, even if the Celtics win the championship, then people will say, "Oh, well, he has a super team. Oh, he should have won."
It would be so funny. It would be so funny if the Celtics somehow beat the Nuggets, which I mean, I honestly don't think will happen. But
I don't
if
know
they
if
did,
the Celtics can either. I'm with you there. I don't know if they can.
But if they did, maybe who knows what happens. But Celtics win the championship. Derek White wins Finals MVP. What's the Jason Tatum?
That's honestly like.
What's the Jason Tatum agenda now?
Yeah. Well, that was the Curry agenda, wasn't it? For a while, like, oh, he didn't have a final.
Well, it was like, I mean, Iguodala did great defending LeBron, but it should have never been his award. But I mean, Steph Curry, eventually proved. I think that.
Yeah, but it was after his first MVP was against the Celtics, wasn't it? The Finals MVP, because KD went back to back.
It was, but before that, I still thought Steph Curry was the second greatest point guard. Most people did, second greatest point guard of all time. Some people now with that one may have him first, but I mean, for me, he's still second. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of right on the lines of what you just talked about, though. Like, if they do somehow win the finals, I am not super high on Tatum being the one that wins MVP, unless he has an insane series, which could very well happen.
I could just see.
I don't think it would be him. I think it would be Jaylen Brown or a Derek White, like you just mentioned. Maybe Porzingis if he's healthy.
From personal experience, I don't think Aaron Gordon would let him win Finals MVP. I think Aaron Gordon will contain him very well.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. Aaron Gordon, great versatile defender, has done a pretty good job on Cat this series. But, we'll see what happens. But with that being said, fourth and final game tonight, second game, but fourth game we're going to talk about in the last series. Dallas Thunder, OKC heads back home. I didn't even realize until I thought about it. It's a very short commute for both teams, Dallas, Oklahoma. This one's tough for me. I think Dallas bounces back on the road. I think Oklahoma City is a great team, but I don't know. Something's just I'm going with my gut here. I think Oklahoma City obviously got the momentum after stealing Game 4 at home. But I feel like if they lost Game 4, I feel like they win Game 5 more likely. But now that's tied 2-2. I feel like they may be a little too comfortable. I think Dallas is just going to come out pissed off, and Luka's finally going to step up. Someone is to help PJ Washington out, and they'll get this dub.
Okay. I just for the sake of entertainment and each of us having different takes, I'm going to say Oklahoma City's going to take it tonight. And I've kept saying, throughout the series, sort of in the playoffs, oh, this is the game Luka, steps up and drops 45, 15, and 10. And I just feel like I haven't really seen that. And I think it's just going to be the theme for the rest of the series. And it's going to have to be Kyrie that steps up. But I think that's not going to be tonight. I think Shea has another big game. So I'm taking Oklahoma City tonight by 10 or more.
Whoa. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
I mean, last game was a close game. Last game was a close game, and Luka played bad. But I'm still going with that prediction. We could look back tomorrow and say, Nick, you're an idiot. Stop talking about NBA. Just let Jake do the NBA talk, and you focus on baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Who knows? I mean, we've learned both teams have thrown punches back and forth. Is this an OKC riding momentum, or is this a Dallas coming out pissed off punch?
Yeah.
Could see it both ways. But I just trust Dallas, in my opinion. But with that being said, both should be a great game. 9:30 tip, so another late one. I guess it's not 10:30 at least. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening to our recap and preview for tonight's games. We'll catch you in the next one.